You ready? Let's go.
After all these years,
We back from the dead.
we find out that these enslaved people
Cloud of mercy.
are one family, chosen by Yah and Gretel. Come on.
No matter what comes and what goes, and we're chosen, we stand aside.
Yeah, you always stand in the guide.
Rose from the grave, we no longer enslaved, we the mishpachah.
We that mishpachah.
No matter what comes and what goes, and we're chosen, we stand aside.
Yeah, you always stand in the guide.
Rose from the grave, we no longer enslaved, we the mishpachah.
Yo, tell 'em.
We the mishpachah.
Tell 'em.
We the mishpachah.
And Yah, Pachah, and Yah, yo.
No matter what comes and what goes, and we're chosen, we stand aside.
Yeah, you always stand in the guide.
Rose from the grave, we no longer enslaved, we the mishpachah.
We that mishpachah.
No matter what comes and what goes, and we're chosen, we stand aside.
Yeah, you always stand in the guide.
Rose from the grave, we're no longer enslaved, we the mishpachah.
Yo, tell 'em.
We the mishpachah.
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 Pachah, and Yah, Pachah, and Yah. We live, we die, and Yah. Mishpachah. One family, one blood, one tribe. But how long will these simple ones love the simple ways? It was for this cause that the curse was poured upon us. But now it's high time for us to awaken and repent. Oh Zion, your redemption is nigh.
Mixing is forbidden, because the people are holy, and the sons of Aaron are the holy of holies. Nevertheless, as you know, some of the priests and the people are mixing. They are intermarrying, and thereby polluting the holy seed. 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 Dead Sea Scroll, number 4Q398.
It's God's law. He made sparrow, sparrow, and a robin, robin. They're different for a reason.
Big country, the Hebrew.
Praise the Most
We Negroes only, the blood is shed. 'Cause you and I, and we and him, he's the root of the tree, I'm just a limb. We some hardcore spiritual, bring that holy scripture to him. We Negroes only, the blood is shed. 'Cause you and I, and we and him, he's the root of the tree, I'm just a limb. We some hardcore spiritual, bring that holy scripture to him.
If you're a Negro, that means that you're a Hebrew. The chosen seed of Israel, that means no equal to you. But if you're a Hamite, peekaboo, we see you. You sold us to our oppressors on a one-way ticket to Egypt. Them heathens shipped my people away on government-funded slave ships. The evil that we had to endure. Talk back to massa you get with. You fed our children to alligators.
Motherfuckers are African American.
We have to live out our curses that our stubborn ancestors gave us. Hamashiach, come save us. We trying to be on our best behavior. We the true people of the book because in your image you made us.
We Negroes only, the blood is shed. 'Cause you and I, and we and him, He's the root of the tree, I'm just a limb. We some hardcore spiritual, bringing that holy scripture to them. We Negroes only, the blood is shed. Cause you and I, and we in him. He's the root of the tree, I'm just a limb. We some hardcore spiritual, bring that holy scripture to them.
Are you willing to give up your life like Christ versus the Philistine? Would you take the mark of the beast or place your head in the guillotine? Would you face the east every day and pray even for your enemies? Would you say amazing grace before you eat what's on your plate unto our Elohim? The meek shall inherit the earth. Those who are last are gonna be first. I'm speaking my blessings into existence, so if it's you hate me, it's gonna get worse. You and your family are gonna be cursed for plotting my downfall since my rebirth. So what is worth? The truth really hurts. For my kingdom work, I will be in birth. 144 singing war chants. You try to avoid the noise, but you can't.
We Negroes only, the blood is shed. Cause you and I, and we in him. He's the root of the tree, I'm just a limb. We some hardcore spiritual, bringing that holy scripture to them. We Negroes only, the blood is shed. Cause you and I, and we in him. He's the root of the tree, I'm just a limb. We some hardcore spiritual, bring that holy scripture to them.
I live in Shalom, but don't come to my home with wicked intentions. Because I don't be on none of that bullshit. You get many metal fragments thrown into your backbones. We Negro onlys, we Negro onlys. True bloodline of Shem, that there mean we can't be phonies. Skin like burnt grass, hair just like wool. We slaying each and every one of our opponents. Evil spirits must flee because y'all really don't want it. These are the last days, recompense is coming. We Negro onlys, we Negro onlys.
We Negroes only, the blood is shed. Cause you and I, and we in him. He's the root of the tree, I'm just a limb. We some hardcore spiritual, bringing that holy scripture to them. We Negroes only, the blood is shed. Cause you and I, and we in him. He's the root of the tree, I'm just a limb.
Big country, the Hebrew.
All right, shalom, Zion. So a lot of people are having a hard time trying to figure out how the Canaanites and the Edomites started off as melanated, nappy, woolly-haired, brown-eyed humans to pale-skinned, straight-haired, blue-eyed hybrids. So once again, I'm going to start at Genesis chapter 6, and I'm going to try to be a little more detailed this go around. Genesis chapter 6, verses 1 and 2. And it came to pass, when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose. In Genesis chapter 6, there's a difference between sons of God and daughters of men. In the Hebrew, it's Benai Ha Elohim, meaning son of God, and Benat Ha Adami, meaning daughters of men. Now let's prove it from the scriptures that the term sons of God is actually referring to the angels and not humans, because a lot of people believe that it's just talking about ordinary people, mostly them camps, who are extremely carnal and have no spiritual discernment. Job chapter 1, verse 6. Now there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before Yahuwah, and Satan came also among them. Now these were just ordinary people, How in the hell would they be able to stand before the Most High? And if these were just ordinary humans who were righteous, why would Satan also be among them? There's no example in the scriptures of a group of people who are allowed to approach the Most High himself. Only the Levites were allowed in the Holy of Holies, and they had to be high priests at that. The sons of God were already in existence before the creation of the earth. Let's get that in Job chapter 38, verses 4 through 7. And I'm using the term God for the sake of simplicity. Job chapter 38, verses 4 through 7. Where wast thou when I laid the foundation of the earth? Declare if thou hast understanding. Who hath laid the measures thereof, if thou knowest? Or who hath stretched the line upon it? Whereupon are the foundations thereof fastened? Or who laid the cornerstone thereof? When the morning stars sang together, and all the sons of God shouted for joy. As you can see, the sons of God were already there when the Most High laid down the foundations of the earth. Also in Daniel chapter 3, verses 25, when Nebuchadnezzar had Shadrach, Meshach, and a bad Negro thrown into a fiery furnace for refusing to bow down to his image. Daniel chapter 3, verse 25. He answered and said, Lo, I see 4 men loose, walking in the midst of the fire, and they have no hurt. And the form of the fourth is like the Son of God. So the fourth one was an angel. A lot of people say that was Hamashiach, but I'm led to believe it was an angel. That's just my personal opinion. So anyone who's not indoctrinated by Western evangelical Eurocentric Christianity can clearly see that the term sons of God is referring to the angels. So I'm gonna need y'all to pay close attention to these next scriptures I'm about to read, 2 Peter and Jude, and how they both correlate with Genesis chapter 6. 2 Peter chapter 2, verse 4. For if Yahuwah spared not the angels that sinned, but cast them down to hell, and delivered them into chains of darkness to be reserved unto judgment. So both Peter and Jude are referring to the angels that sinned in Genesis chapter 6. And if that's not the case, then you got to tell me where else in the Bible does it speak of angels sinning, if not Genesis chapter 6? Jude, and pay close attention to Jude chapter 1, verse 6 and 7. I'm gonna need y'all to pay attention. And the angels which kept not their first estate, but left their own habitation, remember that, but left their own habitation, he hath reserved in everlasting chains under darkness under the judgment of the great day, even as Sodom and Gomorrah and the cities about them in like manner, giving themselves over to fornication and doing and going after strange flesh, are set forth for an example, suffering the vengeance of eternal fire. So, and also what Jude has in common with Genesis chapter 6 is there's an abnormal form of sexual activity going on. Now, another argument people say is that the angels don't marry, and I use Matthew and Mark to validate their points. Let's go there. Matthew chapter 22, verse 30. For in the resurrection they neither marry nor are given in marriage, but are as the angels of Yahuwah in heaven. Mark chapter 12, verse 25. For when they shall rise from the dead, they neither marry nor are given in marriage, but are as angels which are in heaven. Okay, so notice how it says in the resurrection will be like the angels in heaven. Well, remember in the book of Jude, it says that the angels left their proper dwelling place. Remember Jude, and the angels which kept not their first estate, but left their own habitation. That's Jude chapter 1 and 6. So in heaven, the angels don't marry, but the ones who left their own habitation by falling to earth ended up finding the daughters of men beautiful and taking them for wives. The righteous angels don't sin. They only do the will of the Most High. But the wicked angels who follow Satan that fell to earth, they cohabited with the Canaanites or the daughters of men. So next, how do we know for sure that the offspring of those fallen angels turned out to be pale skinned? This is where we utilize the extra biblical sources, the very same books that these hybrids took out in order to hide themselves and deceive people of who they really are. Remember, Revelations chapter 12, verse 9 tells us how the devil deceived the whole world. So I'm going to utilize the book of Enoch, chapter 105, verses 1 through 3. And this is going to prove that the descendants of the Nephilim were pale skinned. So, Enoch chapter 105, verses 1 through 3. After a time, my son Methuselah took a wife for his son Lamech. She became pregnant by him and brought forth a child, the flesh of which was as white as snow and red as a rose, the hair of whose head was white like wool and long, and whose eyes were beautiful when he opened them. He illuminated the whole house like the sun. The whole house abounded with light. And when he was taken from the hand of the midwife, opening also his mouth, he spoke to the Lord of righteousness. Then Lamech, his father, was afraid of him, and flying away came to his own father Methuselah, and said, I have begotten a son unlike to other children. He is not human, but resembling the offspring of the angels of heaven. He is of a different nature from ours, being altogether unlike to us. So as you can see, Lamech thought that his son Noah was a descendant of the fallen angels because his skin was white as snow. So it's safe to say that Lamech never seen an albino Negro before. And I'm not saying that Noah was actually the product of the fallen angels. I'm saying he resembled the descendants of the fallen angel. Get it? So the book of Enoch is proof that the offsprings of the Nephilim hybrids were pale skinned. Now let's find out why I believe that the offsprings of the fallen angel's skin became pale. I believe that their skin was cursed with leprosy for the simple fact that their total existence was an abomination in the eyes of the Most High. But first, I'm going to show you that it was Canaan's descendants who first had the curse put upon them. I'm going to utilize the book of Jubilees, chapter 10, verses 28 through 34. And Ham and his sons went into the land which he was to occupy, which he acquired as his portion in the land of the south. And Canaan saw the land of Lebanon to the river of Egypt, that it was very good. And he went not into the land of his inheritance to the west, that is to the sea. And he dwelt in the land of Lebanon, eastward and westward from the border of Jordan and from the border of the sea. And Ham, his father, and Cush, and Mizraim, his brothers, said unto him, Thou hast settled in a land which is not thine, and which did not fall to us by lot. Do not do so, for if thou dost do so, thou and thy sons will fall in the land and be accursed through sedition. For by sedition ye have settled, and by sedition will thy children fall, and thou shalt be rooted out forever. Dwell not in the dwelling of Shem, for to Shem and to his sons did it come by their lot. Cursed art thou, and cursed shalt thou be beyond all the sons of Noah, by the curse by which we bound ourselves by an oath in the presence of the holy judge, and in the presence of Noah our father. But he did not hearken unto them, and dwelt in the land of Lebanon from Hamath to the entering of Egypt, he and his sons until this day. And for this reason, that land is named Canaan. Genesis chapter 9, verses 20 through 26. And Noah began to be an husbandman, and he planted a vineyard. And he drank of the wine, and was drunken, and he was uncovered within his tent. And Ham, the father of Canaan, saw the nakedness of his father, and told his two brethren without. And Shem and Japheth took a garment, and laid it upon both their shoulders, and went backward, and covered the nakedness of their father. And their faces were backward, and they saw not their father's nakedness. And Noah awoke from his wine, and knew what his younger son had done unto him. And he said, Cursed be Canaan, a servant of servants shall he be unto his brethren. And he said, Blessed be Yahuwah Elohim of Shem, and Canaan shall be his servant. So as you can see, the curse was placed on Canaan, not Ham. I mean, that's quite clear. The hybrids made up that whole curse of Ham thing because they knew that they're actually the ones who were cursed. What they did was they projected that curse from themselves unto us. Until this day, they use projection to undermine us. Like, for instance, if we were to point out all the injustices or all the injustice acts that they've placed on our people, they'll start to project and call us racist, when in actuality, they're the ones being racist. So the next question is, how does the Most High curse people? He curses them by shaming them and making their skin pale. Isaiah chapter 29, verse 22 says, Therefore, thus saith Yahuwah, who redeemed Abraham, concerning the house of Jacob, Jacob shall not be ashamed, neither shall his face now wax pale. Jacob shall not be ashamed. Remember that. Jacob shall not be ashamed, neither shall his face now wax pale. In the scriptures, the Most High cursed Miriam by making her skin pale. Numbers chapter 12, verses 10 through 12. And the cloud departed from off the tabernacle, and behold, Miriam became leprous, white as snow. And Aaron looked upon Miriam, and behold, she was leprous. And Aaron said unto Moses, Alas, my Lord, I beseech thee, lay not the sin upon us wherein we have done foolishly, and wherein we have sinned. let her not be as one dead, of whom the flesh is half consumed when he cometh out of his mother's womb. Notice how Aaron said Miriam's skin looked half consumed. What y'all think that means? Half consumed. That means lacking melanin. He said, let her not be as one dead, whom the flesh is half consumed, like a baby's skin that was just born from his mother's womb. A lot of our people, when they're born really pale. I know I was. And they get darker as they get older. And I did my DNA, so I'm 90% African or 90% Israelite. So according to, the DNA, I'm 100% Israelite. But, the DNA says I'm 90% African. But anyways, so having pale skin was something to be ashamed of. As we see in Numbers chapter 12, verse 14. And Yahweh said unto Moses, if her father but spit in her face, should she not be ashamed 7 days? Let her be shut out from the camp 7 days, and after that, let her be received again. Let me read that one more time. Numbers chapter 12, verse 14. And Yahuwah said unto Moses, if her father had but spit in her face, should she not be ashamed 7 days? Let her be shut out from the camp 7 days, and after that, let her be received in again. So the Most High compared Miriam's pale skin to her father spitting in her face. That's how bad having pale skin was. So Mary had to stay outside the camp for 7 days because the Most High cursed and ashamed her with biblical leprosy, causing her skin to become pale, like a newborn baby. Strong's definition for the word shamed is H954. It means pale. So how did the Most High shame Miriam in Numbers chapter 12, verse 14? The answer is in Isaiah chapter 29, verse 22. Therefore, thus saith Yahuwah, who redeemed Abraham concerning the house of Jacob, Jacob shall not now be ashamed, neither shall his face now wax pale. Ashamed means to be pale, like the Most High shamed Miriam by making her skin pale. So here's some more scriptures that prove having pale skin is a curse. And by the way, I'm not talking about light-skinned Negroes because we come in all different shades of brown, from light, bright, damn near white to dark brown. Remember, Noah was a light-skinned Negro. So Exodus chapter 4, verse 6. And Yahuwah said, furthermore unto him, put now thine hand into thine bosom. And he put his hand into his bosom, and we took it out. Behold, his hand was leprous as snow. Numbers chapter 12, verse 10. And the cloud departed from off the tabernacle, and behold, Miriam became leprous, white as snow. And Aaron looked upon Miriam, and behold, she was leprous. Hold on, y'all gotta plug my battery. Second Kings chapter 5, verse 27. The leprosy, therefore, of Naaman shall cleave unto thee, and unto thy seed forever. And he went out from his presence, a leper, as white as snow. Leviticus chapter 13, verse 2. When a man shall have in the skin of his flesh a rising, a scab, or bright spot, and it be in the skin of his flesh like the plague of leprosy, then he shall be brought unto Aaron the priest, or unto one of his sons the priest. Leviticus chapter 12, verse 3. And the priest shall look on the plague in the skin of the flesh, and when the hair in the plague is turned white, and the plague in sight be deeper than the skin of his flesh, it is a plague of leprosy, and the priest shall look upon him and pronounce him unclean. Leviticus chapter 13, verse 25. Then the priest shall look upon it, and behold, if the hair in the bright spot be turned white, and it be in the sight deeper than the skin, it is a leprosy, broken out of the burning. Wherefore the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is the plague of leprosy. Leviticus chapter 13, verse 27. And the priest shall look upon him the seventh day, and if it be spread much abroad in the skin, then the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is the plague of leprosy. Remember, Miriam had to live outside the camp for 7 days. Leviticus chapter 13, verse 30. Then the priest shall see the plague, and behold, if it be in sight deeper than the skin, and there be in it a yellow thin hair, then the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is a dry scale, even a leprosy, upon the head or beard. Leviticus chapter 13, verse 9 through 15. When the plague of leprosy is in a man, then he shall be brought out. Then he shall be brought unto the priest, and the priest shall see him. And behold, if the rising be white in the skin, and it have turned the hair white, and there be quick raw flesh in the rising, it is an old leprosy in the skin of his flesh. And the priest shall pronounce him unclean, and shall not shut him up, for he is unclean. And if a leprosy break out abroad in the skin, and the leprosy cover all the skin of him that hath the plague from his head even to his foot, whosoever the priest looketh, then the priest shall consider, and behold, if the leprosy have covered all his flesh, he shall pronounce him clean that hath the plague. It is all turned white, he is clean. Yeah, so that's what you call a clean leper. Like when somebody has vitiligo and they got like white spots all over their body, they will be considered unclean until the white spots like completely covers your body. Then you'll be considered a clean leper because the Most High does not like blemishes. Just like when back in the day when you had to sacrifice a cow or a lamb, it had to be unblemished. But anyway, verse 14. But when raw flesh appeareth in him, he shall be unclean. And the priest shall see the raw flesh and pronounce him to be unclean. For the raw flesh is unclean. It is a leprosy. So to sum everything up, the sons of Canaan, not Ham, but Canaan. Well, people think that Canaan and Ham are synonymous with each other, and they're not. Ham had 4 sons: Canaan, Cush, Mizraim, and Put. And Canaan is the progenitor of the Canaanites, who had 11 sons. The Sidonians, the Hittites, who were the children of Heth, who became the Horites, the Jebusites, the Amorites, the Girgashites, the Hivites, the Arkites, the Sinites, the Arvadites, the Zemarites, the Hamathites, and it was the Canaanites who mixed with the fallen angels, Heth and his sons, who became the Horites. And as far as I know, Ham's three other kids, Cush, Mizraim, and Phut, stayed black because they never mixed with the fallen angels. The Canaanites were the first to procreate with the fallen angels, and that's how they became cursed with pale skin, who became Horites that lived in Mount Seir. The name Seir means hairy, goat, demon. The Horites were a subterranean based people, meaning they were living in cave systems and tunnels. The definition of Horite is a cave dwelling people of biblical period prior to the time of Abraham that inhabited the Dead Sea region of Eastern Mediterranean. Now, I believe that the Horites were actually Neanderthals because they were hairy, shaggy cave dwellers, or troglodytes. Let me read these definitions right quick. All right, it says, I got it up on the screen. It says Hebrew English Dictionary, H2752, the Horites. It's the Strong's number. Transliteration, Hori. Let's see, Bible usage, Horims or Horite. Strong's definition, cave dweller or troglodyte, a Horite or Aboriginal Idumean. The Brown Driver Biggs definition, Horite equals cave dweller or the inhabitant of Mount Seir or the inhabitant of Edom in later times. And the reason it says in later times is because that's when the Edomites come and usurp the land. But I'm about to get in that in a minute. So these Horites / Canaanites were living in Mount Seir or Idumea. So I'm about to show y'all how the Edomites became pale skinned. Deuteronomy chapter 2, verse 12. The Horims or Horites also dwelt in Seir before time, but the children of Esau succeeded them when they had destroyed them from before them, and dwelt in their stead, as Israel did unto the land of his possession, which Yahuwah gave unto them. So that basically the Edomites came and conquered the land of Idumea, just like the Israelites did when we left Egypt and we went into the land of Canaan and took over Canaan. In Deuteronomy chapter 2, verse 12, it says that Esau succeeded the Horites and destroyed them. And Joshua says that Esau dwelt in the land of the Horites and became very fruitful and multiplied. So Joshua chapter 36, verses 37 and 38. These are the families of the children of Seir the Horite, according to their dukedoms in the land of Seir. And Esau and his children dwelt in the land of Seir the Horite, the inhabitant of the land, and they had possessions in it, and were fruitful and multiplied exceedingly. So Esau's seed became spoiled from mixing with the Horites. the descendants of the fallen angels. Jeremiah chapter 49, verse 10. But I have made Esau bare. I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren and his neighbors, and he is not. So this is how Esau's seed became pale skinned, because his descendants took over the land of Seir. The book of Joshua, chapter 57, verse 35 and 36. And it came to pass, after the battle, the children of Esau turned back and came home unto Seir. And the children of Esau slew those who had remained in the land of the children of Seir. They slew also their wives and little ones. They left not a soul alive except 50 young lads and damsels, whom they suffered to live. And the children of Esau did not put them to death. And the lads became their slaves, and the damsels they took for wives. And the children of Esau dwelt in Seir, in the place of the children of Seir. And they inherited their land and took possession of it. So Esau and his descendants usurped the land of the Horites, who were the Canaanites, who were descendants of the fallen angels, and procreated with their women. This is how Esau's seed became spoiled or white. So remain kingdom driven and narrow road living. Shalom.
Big country the Hebrew.
Praise the Most
We Negroes only, the blood is shed. Cause you and I, and we in him. He's the root of the tree, I'm just a limb. We some hardcore spiritual, bring that holy scripture to him. We Negroes only, the blood is shed. Cause you and I, and we in him. He's the root of the tree, I'm just a limb. We some hardcore spiritual, bring that holy scripture to him.
If you're a Negro, that means that you're a Hebrew. The chosen seed of Israel, that means no equal to you. But if you're a Hamite, peekaboo, we see you. You sold us to our oppressors on a one-way ticket to Egypt. Them heathens shipped my people away on government-funded slave ships. The evil that we had to endure. Talk back to massa, you get with. You fed our children to alligators.
Motherfuckers are African American.
We have to live out our curses that our stubborn ancestors gave us. Hamashiach, come save us. We trying to be on our best behavior. We the true people of the book because in your image you made us.
We Negroes only, the blood is shed. Cause you and I, and we in him. He's the root of the tree, I'm just a limb. We some hardcore spiritual, bring that holy scripture to him. We Negroes only, the blood is shed. Cause you and I, and we in him. He's the root of the tree, I'm just a limb. We some hardcore spiritual, bring that holy scripture to him.
Are you willing to give up your life like Christ versus the Philistines? Would you take the mark of the beast or place your head in the guillotine? Would you face the east every day and pray even for your enemies? Would you say amazing grace before you eat what's on your plate unto our Elohim? The meek shall inherit the earth. Those of her last, I wanna be first. I'm speaking my blessings into existence, so if you hate me, it's gonna get worse. You and your family are gonna be cursed. For plotting my downfall, since my rebirth. So what is worth? The truth really hurts. For my kingdom work, I will be in birth. 144 singing war chants. You try to avoid the noise, but you can't.
We Negroes only, the blood is shed. Cause you and I, and we in him. He's the root of the tree, I'm just a limb. We some hardcore spiritual, bring that holy scripture to him. We Negroes only, the blood is shed. Cause you and I, and we in him. He's the root of the tree, I'm just a limb. We some hardcore spiritual, bring that holy scripture to him.
I I live in Shalom, but don't come to my home with wicked intentions. Because I don't be on none of that bullshit. You get many metal fragments thrown into your backbones. We Negro onlys, we Negro onlys. True bloodline of Shem, that there mean we can't be phonies. Skin like burnt grass, hair just like wool. We slaying each and every one of our opponents. Evil spirits must flee because y'all really don't want it. These are the last days, recompense is coming. We Negro onlys, we Negro onlys.
We Negroes only, the blood is Shem. Cause you and I, and we and him. He's the root of the tree, I'm just a limb. We some hardcore spiritual brain that quoting scripture to him. We Negroes only, the blood of Shem. Cause you and I, and we and him. He's the root of the tree, I'm just a limb.
Big country, the Hebrew.